So, hello, test radio, test radio. You guys got it? No sound? Hey, Richard, can you hear me? No sound this AM? What? Yeah, can you guys hear? There we go. Wait, come here before you go for a sec. So why is there another box down there that you'll fix it after? All right. Oh, this is a good song. Listen to this for 1 second while I just put something on the next chart. Sorry about that. Sorry about it.
For the pieces are falling, fell the pieces, and I'm still falling.
All right, my doggies, how are we feeling today? It is 6:37. I'm a little late. It's December 18th, just like that. How many days left do we have in 2025? I hope everyone's had a good year, making money, making some progress, working on their routine, controlling what they can control. If you put together the work and you put together the plan and you have multiple plans when things happen fast, kind of like yesterday, you react fast, you listen to your inner trading voice, and you execute with confidence. That's what you have to do. There's two parts to whether you're going to have success. One is preparation with the X's and O's. The other is getting your mind right so you're feeling good, so you're feeling ready. What I do is I wake up every day early in the morning, start off with a big glass of water. Then I turn my sauna on, and then I look at what's happening around the world, and I see where the futures are at. I see what the news is doing, put together a few little things for the community, and then I get in the sauna, do a nice little 20-minute workout that I call the 20-5-20. Get a little blood flowing, a little breathing, a little mobility, little meditation, little pump, a little sweat as I think about positions and levels and rehearse in my head what I feel like could be done while my endorphins are high, kind of like a runner's high, but you're not running, you're working out. And then here we are. So anyway, question is, will they sell strength like they've done the past few sessions? The past few sessions, every time we've had some kind of gap up, they've sold strength. It's been like clockwork. And one of these times they're going to catch everybody. But as of right now, Sellers are still in control. You know, you have 605.45, went down as low as 660. So I would think 606-ish. If they're going to do the same thing, you might be able to, you know, do a cute short into that zone. If they want to push the market a little bit higher, you know, then you have a bunch of areas. You probably have, you know, this little spot right here, which is in the middle. You know, every time they've rallied up, they sold strength into 623, sold strength into 618, sold strength into 613. So this would be resistance one, and then, you know, I would think it's going to be kind of hard to get through. Now this is 609.32. Sometimes what you could do also is, just so you know, like if you get up to 606, you sell some 609 premium and you collect a little bit, so you have some room, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, that's the cues. If you look at the SPYs, give you a little bit of a roadmap. You know, I've been selling a lot of premium. Every time we rally, I sell some premium, and it's helped me taking income short while I'm waiting for things to work out. You know, right now, yesterday's low is 671. This is 674.98. You know, if the SPYs are probably going to get rejected at first kiss, which is right around 40 cents higher here, and then it's like a brick wall at you know, where the moving averages are curling down, which is now a little bit closer to 679. So what you want to do is every day you want to map out the easy bounce area, then the harder one, so you know when you're into a resistance zone, you're not looking to buy names just in case. By the way, something came out on DJT, which has it up for the first time in multiple, you know, weeks. I'm not saying buy it, but something triggered here where if you know, you want to take a look here, you know, 1330. Let me see. I haven't posted the chart of DJT or even looked at it in ages. Anyway, where was the, you know, this is where was the breakdown from? I would not be buying it on the up move, you know, but this is 1280, and then I would think your next level here is where it broke, which is $15. So DJT. Anybody know the news? Merger? Who they merging with? Anyway, so yeah, some people are like, hey, Red Dog, what's the matter? Where's Santa? Getting drunk on too much eggnog? You know, every time we've had some news, the market's tried to discount it. You know, starting last Thursday, you had the Oracle news, tried to discount. We reversed Friday, Avago's news, you know, and then all of a sudden Monday we looked right, and then yesterday the news that Blue Owl doesn't want to fund the Oracle data center, which is the bear case. But anyway, now this is at 14. This is true here. That's a decent move. So but anyway, so you know the Mag 7's been a source of liquidity. Hasn't been special. You know, a week ago I told you that, you know, Yardeni, who's really a, you know, decent bull, knows his stuff, was saying how, you know, the Mag 7 is going to continue to weaken while money goes to the equal weight RSP to other names, but even those names are hard to find. You know, I don't think I've been sitting in Mag 7 names for a while now. They've all been not special. So you have to be on your toes for when things change. What is that? So Trump Media announced a merger with Tay Technologies in an all-stock deal valued at $6 billion. Anyway, so let's look at some people. Let's go back to Tesla, because a lot of people made a lot of money with me in Tesla in the last few weeks. And yesterday, if you used the Red Dog reversal tactic, or the fact that it traded above a major area and couldn't hold it and adjusted, you saved yourself a lot of money and you booked some profits. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's Tesla. Okay. So Tesla, okay, I put this on as a power play. Okay. This is like a good learning exercise for those who are like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I gave back so much money. Okay. Well, you didn't adjust the way you should have adjusted. Okay. Right here was pretty much what we put it on as a power play to get above, you know, this area. Then it did. Here it's above the moving averages, looking fantastic. This is when we put on the 475 calls. Then on what's it called? What was it? Tuesday, it went as high as 491.50. So a lot of guys are like, hey, Red Dog, you think it gets to 500? Is it going to get to 500? I'm like, well, in order to get to 500, it's got to get above and stay above 491.50. So I'm explaining the mentality of around the Red Dog reversal, or about get above and stay above, or get below and stay below. Exactly. So here it got above 491.50, went to 495. For this to have gotten to 500, what does it have to do in a simplified version? It's got to stay above 491.50. What didn't it do? it didn't stay above 491.50. So if you were playing for momentum, that had to be an out. If you also go sideways and look at the 488.50, that was also a level. So the bears wanted to get a little bit of a double top right there, especially after a big move, especially when no other stocks are acting great. So Tesla was having a hard time doing it on its own. So that was a spot to adjust, especially when you saw Oracle break its level. I talked about NVIDIA, 174. Like a lot of keys to the day started to break, so Tesla couldn't do it by itself. So hopefully you locked in at least 80% of profits. I locked in like 80%. So anyway, with that said, it's still above the 8-day. It's still above this spot. So it's still better than most things. It's just hard to be so elevated when the market's coming in like that. So for today, Tesla right now is up 580, okay, which isn't a lot. So some people are like, well, do you still think it can get to 500? Well, the question is when and how. So for today, if we were to open up 6 and the sellers try and come in and it holds and goes up 10 or 12 and works its way through this candle a little bit, that would tell me that maybe sooner than later it could rebuild faster. If it opens up 6 into this 473 or 475, which is kind of like your new resistance, okay, right? This was your prior area. This would be a very small retracement. So resistance is now 474, 481. So if it gets rejected into 474 and goes down, chances are it's going to need more time to rebuild because, that's just the action. If it pushes through 474 and gets back up to 481 today, and it eats into this big bearish reversal candle a little bit more to show some power, maybe there's a chance through Christmas week, it shows some leadership. So right now you have to have multiple plans in your head. Some people will say, hey, look at this bearish red dog reversal candle, double top. I'm going after it. I'm going to short this strength. That could be you. I'm not. I'm just going to wait and see the action and give it some time to work its way through. Yes, Rivian is the sister. And, Rivian sold down a little bit, back below this 18 and change. It's hard to find anything showing commitment to anything. This went as high as 19 and change. Hard to find anything showing, commitment there. I wish there were some good charts to show, but it seems there's so many negative charts. Yesterday I was on with TrendSpider. If you want to click the link below for a free trial of TrendSpider, you can. And I talked about how actually 250 would be a level it could see. I went over this whole thing with them trading after hours. I'm like, if MU can get above 237, you could see 250. This is how you compartmentalize trades. And right now, MU is at 250. Congratulations to everybody who traded it after hours and made some money. That was good, So the guy we were talking, I got on a 345. He's like, how would you trade this after hours? I'm like, well, first thing you got to do is get above 237.50. Get above 237.50. Your next spot's 250, and that's where you're at. So if you made money there, congratulations if you traded after hours. MSOS doing great. It's been my biggest winner in the last week and a half besides Tesla. If you remember, I'm going to do a little video and show you. I came out here, right around here. There was this big article over the summer on how Mike Tyson and Kevin Durant and some of the major celebrities were going to put some pressure on Trump to declassify marijuana. So I was like, you know what, let's buy some options. And we bought some options and had a big move. And I made a lot of money, and then we made money in our power plays and MSOS. And then during this move low, I kind of lost sight of it. But then when the news came out last week on Friday when I was in Miami, I was like, oh, this is the news we were looking for. So I bought back MSOS on this day, added this day, and now it just filled that gap. So to me, that was a great trade. A lot of people in the Alpha team, we all made money in MSOS. If you want to look at it a little bit different, look at the weekly chart. Do I think it's over? I don't. I think in time, there's no reason why it can't get towards 11-ish or even 14-ish, especially if after they declassified, the banking rules get a little bit easier, the safe banking bill, so you could push money around from state to state. So, if you miss this first part of it, it happens. I would think you can get up to here. I also have a big private placement in a few names from 2021. So I would love this sector to get better. If I can get this company public and make a 4x or 5x, I'll take everyone to Sizzler. But anyway, 1800 will never be another Tyson. That's true. Yeah. So question is, when it finally gets announced today, do they sell the news because he's supposed to sign it today? And actively, MSOS did have a nice move. Went as high as what? It went as high as 708. So it filled this gap. So from 3 to 708, they might try and sell the news a little bit. So just be careful adding to it. I'm smaller in this. It was a great trade. I'm very risk down. Like nothing's really working. Like Amazon, is not working. Yeah, every time you buy a dip and it opens up and you think it's gonna be different, and gets rejected into the moving averages this entire time. Google started to weaken. I haven't been in Google literally in a week and a half, and that's changed too. So it went from trying to hold the 8-day, trying to have a bull flag, and broke down. You have to get out of the way. You have to adjust. Yeah, Lulu got Elliott Stake. That's been a broken bounce type name. So probably sees the 200 there. What's Lulu doing this morning? My friends are actually long. It's up another 13. That's pretty cool. If you look here, it had a gap up, held it, went sideways. So Lulu showed you some commitment to this move, and now you have the 200-day there. Some guys like Nike also. Nike's CMG. That looks like it's heading to fill this gap. This has been one of my January effect names. I started buying it down here. So there are some names outside the Mag 7, outside NVIDIA, outside tech that are working, but most of these names are rebuilding. They've been battered and bruised. So they're new, their new active sequences. This gets filled up here into 39. This was another nice trade. So hopefully some of you guys got Chipotle. Anybody from my power plays still in Chipotle? Silver is doing well. That's doing well. BP says my trade plan for the last 2 weeks has been not to trade Amazon. That's been a great trading plan. I get it. I bought some options 2 days ago, the 227.50s, and I sold half. That's why it's good to use a tier system. So yesterday, when Amazon was up 3.5, the options I bought at $1.60, I was selling at $2.45, half of them, and I still have half. So you have to take some trades, and if you want to hold some, recently the trailers don't make any money. Tomorrow, the Bank of Japan could raise rates. That's true. So we'll see how that affects the market. Got to be aware. That's good preparation right there. Silver has been absolutely in fuego. Look at this. Remember when we were here at the 630 Club and we were buying SLV calls? I bought the 49.50s, I think. And look at that move. That's gorgeous. This is trading like you would wish any tech stock would trade, and it's friggin' silver. How cool is that? If you've been accumulating silver coins like my brother, oh my God, my brother, he thinks he's the smartest man alive, but he's pretty damn smart. He's got like a war chest of silver coins, and he's actually taking them in to sell some now. But you could have been, having silver in your wealth chart, in your asset allocation, or you could have been trading it. Anything that's like, I do a lot of lessons above the 821 day, you want to be long, right? And this has been great. Now GLD also is hanging in here, getting tight. Look how tight the GLD is right here. I know it's off a little bit today, and it probably will be affected by the Bank of Japan, but look at this spot here, 400, 403. It gets above that. There's another move here. It's been above the 821 day trending nice. So gold and silver has been much better than Bitcoin, much better. As they take turns, and you have to be aware of what's happening when it's happening. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What was that? That's a good book, by the way. This just, again, like I hate to say it, but less is more. Less has been more the past few weeks. Less trading in the Mag 7s, picking tactical spots. It's just the way it is. Sometimes, you have really good moves and you could be in 15, 20 names and there's momentum. And sometimes it's like, hey, market's acting a little faulty and it just pays to do less. From my experience, I've been doing this for 25 years. There are 3 or 4 times a year where it's a sweet spot and you can make a lot of money. And then the other 7 or 8 months, you just have to survive, make a little bit, follow your plan, be disciplined, listen to music, have your iced coffee, pick spots, and not go over your skis. So at this point, sometimes I feel like, you want to force things and make things happen, but, that's how you lose more money than you need to. If you want to do this business and make P&L monthly and quarterly over a long period, you have to know your discipline, your routine, and your process, and you have to be in control and listen to your trader voice. That's why we do Red Dog Mindset, so we get our mind right. So sometimes we execute when our mind says execute, and sometimes it says hands off. So once again, for today, I hate to, not add that much value today, but I will say it'll be interesting to see, does the SPY open up and get rejected at first kiss here at 674, or Is this going to hold a little bit better and start the Santa Claus rally that everyone's praying for? Right now, this feels a little bit like 2018 when they grinded and grinded and grinded and grinded. And then I think the day after Christmas, we were up 1,000 points. So do you want to accumulate on that? I don't know. Bottom line is, it's been hard. If you've been making money, great. This has been, for me, because of MSOS and Tesla, those where my focus has been. I've made really good money, but I haven't been like, the book Who Moved My Cheese and just stay with things that aren't working. Even that small red dog reversal in ASTS and iron, people are like, oh, is this gonna be another swing trade? I said no. I'm like, it went from right to green, and you want to sell some and manage it. People like in ASTS, they got their ass kicked. Some made a lot of money and some got their ass kicked. Okay. The ones that bought in the hole and then added here and sold the strength and get out of the way made money. The other ones stay in the course because the last time I did this, they got beat up. So, there's a fine line between losing a little and losing a lot, making a little and making a lot. And you got to take your trades. If you took your trade yesterday, you made a lot of money. This was Tuesday. You had a nice little reversal here, and then you opened up, and so if you use your sell rules, you sell some strength, and then you adjust when it doesn't hold the prior high, and then if it takes out the prior low, you get the hell out of the way. Ken says, I'm glad I listened to you in the 6:30 club and sold half at 7 a.m. and then the other half at 9:31. Those type of moves have been making money. A lot of these things don't have muscle memory, meaning just because it was strong the day before or strong a few hours before, you can't go back there. So again, it's just the way it is. There are so many different types of market out there. It changes, it evolves, and you have to be make sure that you're seeing things straight. If it's December 18th and you're not really paying attention, I'd rather see you go on vacation. Go to the mountains, go to the beaches, have some fun, and come back in 2026. If you're going to be here and you're going to be on your game, you're going to be prepared, you can make money. But lately, it's been a little bit harder. And that's just the way it is. Sometimes it's fluid and there's momentum, and sometimes you just have to be careful, take trades, and do less. So we'll see what happens today. Once again, SPYs, I'm just going to focus there because, how does it handle 674.98? This is a spot. Okay, does it get rejected here, or does it, pause here and then put through? Q is the same thing. You got 606 to 609. This is going to be a pretty damn big resistance area if it could even get there. Okay. If we open down and you want to buy it, it'll be a little easier because there's more meat on the bone. But because we're opening up, you have to take it a little bit slower, in my humble opinion. So anyway, will MU push NVIDIA higher? Well, I told you guys yesterday that NVIDIA, would become a headwind if it breaks 174.60, and it broke 174.60. So it is, it is bouncing back. So now this 174.50 should be resistance. So if you're shorting NVIDIA and making a lot of money, okay, cool. Well, now you'll see, does NVIDIA get right back in the range, or does it get rejected there? So right now you're at 173.25. Chances are this 174.60 might be a better short than buy. So you got to figure out what areas of the ranges mean what they mean. So we shall see. Either which way, it's 6:57. Wow, I've been doing this for 27 minutes and I haven't even said much. So I appreciate those of you who signed up for Red Dog Mindset. Again, if you want a free trial of TrendSpider, click the link below. I have an open house next week where you can be in the Alpha team all week with me, Monday through Wednesday. I'll be at my desk. I'll be on the radio. Hopefully, we'll be able to make some money through Christmas week. You can see what we do with the Alpha team, see me take on positions, take them off if things are working well. You're more than welcome. I love to get new guys involved that have the right mind frame, that want to contribute, that want to be part of a community. That's what the Alpha team's all about. I'm going to probably be doing the 6:30 club on Friday starting in 2026. If you want to be grandfathered in instead of Monday through Thursday and be Monday through Friday, subscribe above to the Red Dog Mindset. You'll get the 2520, the 6:30 club. You get a lot of other things too for just $10 a month. $10 a month, not a day, a month. But anyway, with all that said, good luck today. If you're not long, I get it. Market was weak yesterday. Don't just jump into this gap open. Wait to see how things develop. Wait to see if there's commitment. Wait to see what areas get rejected, and then see how you could act accordingly from there. I'll see you guys. I'm gonna go post like 40 charts to the Alpha team and get the day going.